Kasama natin ngayong umaga ang isang kilalang sports analyst, commentator, columnist, and professor na si Sir Sev Sarmenta. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning. Nice to be back here in the place I grew up in, Channel 4. It's always nice to come home. Andito pa rin yung mga lumang taong hindi nagbabago sa planetang ito.
Lumang tao.
Oh, lumang tao. Sila pa rin ang mga tao rito. Natatawa yung mga bata. Oh, sige.
Sir, simulan natin sa palarong pambansa, which will be happening next week in Dumaguete. How do you see this as a training ground for future?
This is great. The palarong pambansa, despite financial problems, despite kiskisa natin sa sports, hindi pagkakaintindihan, somehow nai-stage pa rin. It's a good thing that the students mula sa mga iba-ibang paaralan, iba-ibang rehiyon, ay nagkakaroon ng pagkakataon mapakita yung mga abilidad nila. For instance, I used to go, there's a place in Leyte that I visited, and they're preparing for this. This is a big thing for them. Yes. These are athletes who have given their lives to sports. Baka sakaling may chance sila. So it's great for sports, actually.
Yes, and of course, talagang yung mga best athletes talaga per region, since it's like a huge fight to become like the delegation, part of the delegation.
Well, most of the great athletes, lalo na sa track and field, yan ang isang area siguro na pwede tayong dumukot ng mga magagaling na atleta. Lydia De Vega, Elma Muros, and the others started in the palarong pambansa when they were very, very young, actually.
Yes. But what would you say is the situation of sports as a whole in our country today?
Sports is definitely, we have many problems. The major problem. Our infrastructure needs a lot of work. We have our differences politically. Funding seems to be the main problem, but we're not without mga good-spirited people like sila Manny Pangilinan, Mikey Romero, others who are passionate about sports and contribute resources. We need more people like that kasi hindi naman kaya ng gobyerno lang suportahan ng lahat ng mga pangangailangan ng palakasan.
Yes. Pero ngayon, ano ba yung mga teams na nag-show ng significant improvement?
Well, kung teams, well, we always have the National Capital Region as the stronghold because the UAAP and CAA schools are, of course, here. The recruitment is very strong. But the important thing is the PSC, the Philippine Sports Commission, always likes to find out is that do we have athletes na at the grassroots level, yung mga talagang awkward, pero ang bibilis, may natural talent baga. Magkakaroon ba tayo ng pagkakataon ma-develop itong mga athletes na ito? Ikaw, hindi ka pa pinapanganak nung araw, yung mga tao rito, alam nila yun, yung Gintong Alay program. There was a program before that got the best athletes, put them all in Baguio, trained them, gave them a lot of coaching. Maybe we can do something like that again in the future because that's where the benefit of the palarong pambansa comes from developing athletes even when they're very, very young. Sa Visayas and sa Mindanao regions, ang dami rin mga athletes na, bigla lang, ang galing-galing nito, ang bilis tumakbo, batang-bata pa, sana matrain natin.
Yes, and lately we've seen some other sports na rin making waves in the international tournaments like tennis. What's the situation with tennis right now?
I think the support given by John Henry Luwelier's tennis is auguring well, really helping tennis a lot. We've always been very good at this. Panahon pa ni Felicissimo Ampon at saka and other tennis greats, Felix Barrientos down the line. We have a new batch of very good tennis athletes and we hope we can continue to be able to make it into the higher rankings in the world. Kasi itong Thailand, na tinalo natin recently, hindi biro ito, magagaling yung mga players ng Thailand sa tennis.
Yes. Another sport that we're really fond of is basketball. So how is the basketball scene today?
Ang masaya, we are going to host the FIBA in August and home team tayo. The last time we were champions, actually nung tayo ang nag-host, but we were champions in several other editions after that was in 1973 when players like Sonic Jaworski and Mon Fernandez were still part of the team. The advantage we have is that we will be the host, home cooking yan. Disadvantage, malalaki na yung ibang countries, halimbawa China, of course, Korea, Japan, mga regular rivals natin, pati na rin ang mga rivals natin from the Middle Eastern countries. It won't be easy. Our objective is to make the top 3 so that we have a chance to be in the world basketball competitions. The last time we were there, actually was in 1975 or in 1978 also when we hosted the World Basketball dito sa atin. But we haven't been back there. Where in 1954, this sounds like a history lesson, in 1954, the one of the top countries in the world, we were in fact number 3 and Carlos Loizaga was named one of the best players in the world.
Wow, okay. But then we have yet to produce someone who will play in the NBA. Is
Yeah,
that
but
correct?
yeah, we haven't had the opportunity, although very competitive kasi, di ba? And I hope one day, baka generation mo ang magkaroon ng NBA player coming from the Philippines. That will make us really thrilled to follow the NBA a lot more closely. Sinusundan na natin. We need our own Jeremy Lin, actually.
Yes.
Si Jeremy Lin, of course, when he went back to China and to Taiwan, people went crazy over him, and a new version of Linsanity, so to speak.
Yes. But speaking of basketball, there is a new controversial UAAP rule. So what is your opinion on this?
Well, people will say I'm a little biased because I do work in one of the schools that voted against it, no? But the interesting part is that my take on this is that I think the student athlete has to be at the center of the decision making, not the institutions. I think my with this is that it's a basketball issue. The player involved who came from one school, who wanted to transfer to another school, has to now sit down for 2 years.
Yes.
That's a basketball issue. My concern about it is that volleyball athletes, softball athletes, athletes of the other sports in the UAAP are going to suffer the same consequence because of this sit-down rule of 2 years. I hope they can amend it and think of the students. It shouldn't benefit actually the institutions. It should benefit the students who are. Diba, decision nila, I want to go to this school. I want to go to this school. As to how they were recruited, that's for the UAAP to find out. But I think personally that at the core of the decision making should be the student athlete.
Yes, that's true. And yung 2-year rule, it's really difficult. I know as a UAAP athlete na yung 2 years that you're sitting down, so many people can catch up with you as well.
Like what sport were you doing at that time?
I was Ateneo badminton.
Badminton.
Yes.
And it's very competitive. And
Yes.
your team was one of the best in
Yes.
the UAAP. And women's team was in fact the champion
Yes.
of the UAAP. It's sad for like sports like badminton. You're moving to another school. You want to play for that school. You want to get an education, which all the UAAP schools can provide, by the way. Huh?
Yes.
Hindi lang nakasentro yan sa Ateneo, LaSalle, and UP. I think that all the 5 other member schools of the UAAP can provide the same education and an opportunity for the student athletes. It's sad. No? I'm sure you feel for the athletes
Yes,
who are
I do.
suffering.
And of course, some schools don't really offer like what the student wants, the courses that the student wants. So parang, okay, they have to give up one dream to go for the other. Parang
And then
ganon.
there's also the angle, and psychologists who were consulted by Senator Pia Cayetano for this issue, were the fact that the athlete will lose his competitive edge. Having played,
Yes.
as you have, pag hindi ka competitive over a long period of time, may kalawang eh. Di ba nararamdaman mo, uy, bakit hindi ko nasusundan?
Yes.
But ang step ko hindi ganun kabilis. And you can feel the rust in.
Yes. Okay, so from basketball, let's talk about boxing.
Okay.
Lately, we haven't
How
been
much
doing...
time do you have? We can talk all day here, actually.
Okay. We haven't really been doing well. Donaire, Veloria, Pacquiao. What's happening?
It's a stretch. In the law of averages, our boxers have been running into a spate of bad luck. Started off with Pacquiao, tinaman, sapul, pang, bagsak. Bagsak din ang ating pagtingin kay Pacquiao, akala natin tapos na siya, but he'll be back. I have no problem with him coming back. Veloria struggling both with his age and with competition, and he's worrying about his gas tank. Pag 10th, 11th, 12th round, may problema lagi si Brian Veloria. Donaire has admitted that he did not study his opponent as much. I think he was just overconfident in this battle. We're into a spate of bad luck. I hope that these 3 guys can bounce back quickly and make people happy again and forget about ninakawan sila ng cellphone, ninakawan sila ng, and all the other problems that they had. This is what sports does for our country, actually.
Yes. Okay, so since ang daming sports na pag-uusapan, talon naman tayo ulit.
Talon.
Since uso ngayon, marathons.
Okay.
And the Boston Marathon incident happened recently. What do you think it will affect, like the interests of our runners?
I have no doubt that the runners will continue to run. I think the fact that the Boston Marathon organizers have said, we will be back, this is not going to stop them from staging marathons. I am sad because an 8-year-old boy named Martin Richard died because he just wanted to watch his father cross the finish line. And now he's suffering. The whole family is suffering because the mother has a brain injury, a daughter has lost the leg, and the father is devastated. Whoever perpetrated this crime, this is just a shameless act. But it will not affect running. People will continue to run. Security will be crazy after this.
Yeah.
Do you run in some events? Or do you have a time to wake up? You're not a morning
Not
person.
really.
Okay, so meaning to say, these people will now continue to wake up, but there will be a little security implemented. Kasi nakakatakot pag mag-converge. Actually, ang mga nagpe-perpetuate yan, gusto nila pag maraming tao kasi maraming nakakita, hype ng media. But it's unfortunate. I hope those people who have an agenda will just bring it somewhere else where the innocent will not be affected, actually.
Yes. Okay. So just to wrap up our conversation, do you have a message for our viewers?
Well, sports is not exactly in great shape, but it's not perfect, but we work on it each day. And I hope someday that we can continue to cover many sports. I hope Channel 4 can continue to cover many sports. Because nung araw, going back to our first topic, the People's Network used to cover the palarong pambansa a lot, and all these athletes had the chance to be known to everybody. And I hope we can give our young athletes a chance. In you being an athlete, you know this. We hope that all the other sports, we can give them television time, we can give them a chance to be popular. Badminton, daming magagaling, ano? Daming, I've seen the UAAP volleyball, badminton, saya, no?
Yes.
8 schools, sabay-sabay, ang ingay-ingay. And we hope we can give more opportunities to our athletes in the future.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
Definitely a pleasure.
Thank you. That was Sir Sev Sarmenta.